guys know how schnauzers are when they go, oh shit. Hello my cuddle bags and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Anna Marie Mukbang, and I'm so happy to have you guys here because it is Wednesday. Wednesday means it's Grandma Phyllis's Recipe Wednesday, and today I have something really delicious, and it was kind of rare in my grandma's house because this was more of like a, yeah, two of the ingredients are a little bit more cheap, but one of them is more pricey, and it wasn't always in my grandma's price range. So I have as you can see by the title, Door County Cherry Pork Tenderloin, steamed broccoli, and then I made instant mashed potatoes, you guys. My grandma, you know, the convenience foods, okay? So I haven't had instant mashed potatoes since I lived with my grandma, so I'm very interested in how they will taste. I did get the same ones she always got, which were the cheesy one, the cheesy instant mashed potatoes. So let's just dig in. She always put a huge pat of butter on top, so that's what I did. And oh god, it's so starchy. Let's try it. It tastes exactly like I remember it. Salty, kind of cardboardy. The one thing with the instant mashed potatoes you don't get is the lumps, though. It's good, it's good. Bring back memories. To drink, I do have some water. With a straw. This time, pink. Bendy straw. Let's try this. Honestly, she never cut the pork for me, and so I'm gonna eat it just like I did when I was little. You just take a nice chunk of it. Now, Colton and I did eat part of this meal last night. We just ate the broccoli. Oh, you guys saw it on my Instagram if you were following my Instagram. But we had the broccoli and the pork tenderloin, and then we had cheese cubes and grapes. If you haven't had pork tenderloin, it's just really tender and good. Just like my grandma used to make. Now my grandma used to steam broccoli. My grandma used to steam the broccoli in the microwave. And so she'd cut it up like this. Put a little bit of water in the bottom of like a Tupperware, a glass one. And it has to have one, it has to be a Tupperware that has the vent on the top. And then she'd put it in there and let it steam for like 10 minutes. Now these are steam in a bag, broccoli. You can also steam them on your stove top. But this is definitely a meal that my grandma loved. Speaking of my grandma, today I want to tell you guys about a couple of her hobbies. I think I've discussed a couple of them, like driving the convertible like a crazy lady with Phantom of the Opera, playing out loud and embarrassing me. Drum corps, yeah, she was really big into drum corps. If you don't know what that is, please YouTube it. It's kind of like Drumline the movie, but no woodwinds. Actually, they do have some trombones now, which I do not like, but she's really big into that. She loved going to theater performances. Like, she was in the theater guild, so she worked at like backstage of theater performances and stuff, and actually was like played and acted in theater performances. So she loved that. That was her hobby, one of her main hobbies. And so she used to take us to Phantom of the Opera, Man of La Mancha, Cats the musical, Grease the musical, all these different musicals and theaters shows we used to go to. I can't tell you how many times we went to shows, and I loved it. Oh, Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Jesus Christ Superstar, all these, they loved all, she loved all these. Another thing she liked to do is cook box food. Okay, sorry. Another thing she liked to do is she used to crochet. And she crocheted and made, I don't have anything that she crocheted for me because except for my baby blanket, and my baby blanket is at my dad's house being protected because I don't want it to get ruined. But she used to crochet these beautiful, beautiful quilts, blankets, like hand warmer, hand mitts, like, oh gosh, gloves, like, that you would wear in the winter. She used to hand knit scarves, everything, you guys. And crochet, sorry. She did not knit, she crocheted. And I know there's a huge difference between knitting and crocheting, so she crocheted. Besides big chunky things, she also crocheted very, very delicate things, like doilies. Very tiny, tiny little doilies. Big doilies as big as my plate to put on your lamp on top of. She used to crochet these dolls. She would crochet dolls and keep them. I'll show you a picture of what they look like. They aren't made by my grandma, but my sister, my aunt has things that were crocheted by my grandma, but I was just too young to like value anything like that. So what she would do is she'd crochet these pieces of fabric, or like crochet them into like, Colton, stop. Crochet things into like shapes. And then she'd get these styrofoam balls and wrap the new crocheted fabric pattern around, oh gosh, I don't know. I don't want to call it fabric because it's what she made. She crocheted string into like a fabric design, whatever. And then she would wrap it around the styrofoam balls or the cones or whatever shape she needed for the doll. And then she would spray it with adhesive and like a sealer. And then so the fabric would stay in place to make the dolls and the angels. She made angels too. The best way for me to describe it to you guys is by showing you pictures of things that look like what she would have made. Beautiful, beautiful. And I remember so distinctively that she would make these things, and it would take a long time. She also liked cross stitch. If you guys know what cross stitching is, you use a fabric and some kind of like frame and you stitch it through, and it makes a picture. This is such a Phyllis meal. But Nate, I never called her Phyllis. She was always Grandma. She was just like my mom to me. Another thing she liked to play is croquet. Don't get croquet mixed up with crochet. Crocheting is with like a needle and yarn or thread or whatever. And croquet is like a game for, I don't know, like I only see rich people do it anymore. It's like an old-fashioned game, and it's kind of like golf, but you have to shoot it. You have to take your ball and start at one peg and go through they're like U-shaped rings, tunnel rings, and you go different places. There's a whole way to play it, okay? And the first one to end wins. And you only get like 2 strikes per ball, and I don't know. I never liked playing it. It was just not worth my time, but I do cherish that memory because she would force me to play, and she'd force me to play for hours. And I did not enjoy it. I don't know why, you guys. I just didn't find, and I still don't find anything fun about croquet. It's just, I have decent aim. I can get it where it needs to be. It's just boring. It takes too damn long. when you're waiting for like people to hit their balls and you got 8 people, and when you're out there for like 4 hours, no thank you. But the kind of cool thing that, I feel like I'm talking like a lot. You guys are used to that. The kind of cool thing when we did play croquet is we'd have tea parties with my neighbor. And so my neighbors were like into these fancy tea parties like from China and different things like that. I don't know, London, I don't know. Things I'm not used to, okay? So we'd have our tea table set up in literal like China ware with the tea and capers, and then there was salmon, and then there was cream cheese. So it was kind of like a bruschetta salmon with capers and cream cheese. And it was so good. It was so good, you guys. I really love the capers. But my grandma, she used to, when we were really, really little and first started playing croquet, she used to play croquet with us. But honestly, she had Parkinson's, and so her body started just kind of breaking down on her. I'll say more about Parkinson's later. But so she couldn't really do everything that she wanted to anymore. So she'd sit in her little white plastic chair from Menards and do the crossword puzzle and watch us. And I would start complaining that I wanted to go inside on the computer because we finally got a computer, gosh, when I was like 11, 12 maybe. And she always said, no, you're going to get fat sitting on that computer all day. But I always wanted to go on the computer. She would never let me. Another hobby of hers was being like a coach to me. Coaching me on my weight loss. You guys, I remember one time, I don't know, I got into this stage in my life, around 10, 11, 12 maybe, that I was like hungry all the time. I don't know what it was, or if it was my anxiety and it just wasn't diagnosed, but I would go to the fridge and start eating everything. And so my grandma started noticing that I was gaining weight, because I would sneak food and candy and stuff. And so I come down the stairs one day, and I knew my pants were a little tight that day because I gained weight. Okay, my grandma says, are you pregnant? Who do I gotta kill? Are you pregnant? I said, how can I be pregnant? I don't even kiss boys. Like, she will tell you if you don't look right. She was like, you need to go on a diet. So then she started making me play field hockey, and she would coach me on to run faster and coach me. Like, she was very concerned about our health. I was never big. I just gained weight from what I was. I was always like chunky, but I was never like humongous. I mean, I'm still not humongous now, am I? I don't know. You guys tell me. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm not humongous to my doctor, okay? So yeah, she liked being our coach. And lastly, I know I'll just ramble forever about my grandma, you guys, but lastly, two different things. One, she would sit on we had a screen in front porch, and it had plexiglass because we had schnauzer, and the schnauzer would rip at the screen, and grandma would get all mad because of squirrels. So she would sit there with a crossword puzzle on the porch for hours, from 4 p.m. until like sunset, 8 p.m. after sunset, 8 p.m. And she would make sure she was sitting there because she would entertain herself by the dog wanting to go after the squirrels. So she would egg the dogs on, squirrel, squirrel, but then be mad that they were ripping up the screen. And so then she put plexiglass in to keep the dogs away from the screen. Squirrel, squirrel, and they go, oh shit, I'm trying to knock everything out. They go, I don't know if you guys know how schnauzers are, but they get this snarly face, and that's how they are, okay? It was the funniest thing, and she got such a hoot out of that. Okay, and then lastly, my grandma would, we had this resident ducks in our yard. Because our yard kind of dipped in the middle, so if it ever rained a lot, it would flood to like a little mini pond, and our resident ducks would come. It was a male and a female. And my grandma would sit outside for hours, like hours, feeding the ducks bread. Those ducks were fat. And she would feed them bread every day, until that mom had babies. And then the baby ducks would come swimming around our yard, walking around our yard, depending on, most of the summers the yard was flooded. Until we got it filled. So we had the big pool in the backyard and a flooded side yard. So we didn't have to do a lot of mowing, you know. And you guys, these are just good memories that I sit in my car during the day. I mean, on my way to work and home. I don't sit there all day. And I'm like, what should I talk about my Grandma Phyllis movies, my videos? There's so much I could talk about. And there's so many great memories. You guys, if you're inspired to talk about your grandmas, your mom, your dad, your grandpa, your great ancestor Mildred that you never even met, but you think you have something in common with her, please feel free to do a video, a food-inspired video. I will not think you're stealing my idea or anything like that. Please feel free. Because I know a lot of you comment and say, I want to do that. I want to do that. You've inspired me to do this. Or come to me privately in a message. If you want to do this. Because I think it's good to love people who are passed away, passed on, and still cherish the memories, because that's what keeps people alive. If I didn't cherish memories of my grandma, she would be gone with the wind. She's not on this earth anymore. So the only thing keeping her alive is my memories and my family's memories of her. So, there is Ghost Grandma though. Ghost Grandma, you guys want to hear about Ghost Grandma? Comment below, like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to get out of your hair because, like, I know I talk a lot, but I just have a lot of good things to say about her. And other people too. Love you guys. Have a good Wednesday night. Bye.